What do you get when you mix an American cop with a Russian cop? A buddy action film. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going to go back to 1988 for an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. But before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Yes, today we're going to talk about 1988's Red Heat. This film came out June 17th of 1988. It's rated R. It's an hour and 44 minutes long. Had a budget of $29 million, and upon release, it made $34.9. Now, this film was co-written and directed by the great Walter Hill. Walter Hill obviously directed 48 Hours, The Warriors, which I love, Streets of Fire, Southern Comfort, another 48 Hours, and many, many other films. Last Man Standing, which is a great Bruce Willis film. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Captain Ivan Danko in this film. Jim Belushi plays Art Redzik. He is a Chicago police officer. Peter Doyle plays his captain, Lou Donnelly. Edo Ross, who has worked with Walter Hill before, plays Victor. He's our main bad guy. Lawrence Fishburne plays a police officer in this film, and Gina Gershon's also in this film. So this film has a really good cast to it. And this film is pretty much a buddy cop movie, but it's also a fish out of water story. Right in the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Schwarzenegger's captain, Ivan Danko, and he's on a stakeout in this Russian bathhouse where he proceeds to get into a big brawl. These guys are just in a loincloth, brawling out, ends up outside in the snow. It's a pretty kick-ass introduction to this character. And then his partner gets killed, and his Victor, who kills his partner, goes off to America to make a drug buy to bring back to the Soviet Union to sell on their streets. And that's when we are introduced to Art, our Jim Belushi's character, because Ivan comes to America. Victor was taken in on because he got pulled over with no license and he got taken into custody. But things aren't that simple. He escapes, and we have a cat and mouse game, and we have our final chase scene in buses, which Walter Hill wanted to do something a little different, and he decided to use buses for the final chase and action scene, and that is pretty much Red Heat. What to like about this film? This is pure. Actually, Arnold's personality is dialed back a little bit. There's not as many one-liners, and he speaks in Russian, and he speaks with basically small sentence answers when Jim Belushi is talking to him once he gets to America. Jim Belushi is pretty much the comedic element here. Arnold doesn't have too many. He is funny and he is humorous in scenes, but Jim Belushi gets most of the heavy lifting when it comes to the comedy of the film, for sure. But I gotta be honest, their chemistry is pretty damn good here. And obviously Jim Belushi made an appearance in Jingle All the Way later on in the 90s when Arnold decided to do a Christmas family film. The cast here is really good. Peter Boyle's great as Captain Lou Donnelly. Lawrence Fishburne is great in an early role. Lawrence Fishburne's always good. Edo Ross is great and disgusting as Victor. He's a great scumbag bad guy here, drug dealer. Gina Gershon's good for what she's given to do. She's basically Victor's girlfriend, and she's only in the film maybe 10 minutes, 15 tops, but she's good for what she's given to do here. And obviously she went on to do other things down the line here. The action's pretty good. When the action happens, it's pretty damn good. I mean, it's a cat and mouse police buddy cop movie. It pretty much does follow the formula, other than they dial Arnold's personality back in terms of one-liners and his comedic lines. I mean, again, he has some funny moments, but mostly the comedy is negated to Jim Belushi's character. Again, the action scenes are very well shot and well executed, especially the final bus chase. It was a little bit of a different chase in the 80s when this took place, and it's well shot, and there's a satisfying conclusion to our story. I mean, the story is a very simple one. It's basically Ivan Danko's partner gets killed, and he's coming to America to get the guy who killed him and maybe get a little payback, and that's pretty much Red Heat. It's a well-constructed movie. It's not Arnold's best film, but it's a very solid action movie. It definitely deserved to do better at the box office than it did. It did make some money, but Twins was definitely Arnold's bigger hit later on in the year. And that movie went on to become, I mean, they're even talking about doing a sequel, but now with Ivan Reitman passing away, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I mean, around this time, Arnold's career was in full swing. I mean, you had Terminator in 84, 85 you had Commando, 86 you had Raw Deal, 87 you had Predator and The Running Man, and in 88 he had Red Heat and Twins in the same year, and he went on to do many more films, obviously, Kindergarten Cop later on, Terminator 2, True Lies. I mean, Arnold's had a big, huge career, one of the biggest movie stars of all time during his heyday. And this was a little blip on his filmography that he did with Walter Hill, and I think it's earned some respect over the years, and a lot of folks like this film, especially folks that appreciate a good R-rated 80s action film. I mean, so many 80s action tropes are all there, but I mean, this is a Walter Hill film, so it's violent. There's some cool shootouts. There's some cool action set pieces here. And all the actors are doing what they're here to do. I mean, Edo Ross is chewing the shit out of scenery as Victor, and he's fabulous as this scumbag drug dealer from Russia. Arnold's good as always. He's just dialed back a little bit and playing more of the straight man here than Jim Belushi. Even though Jim Belushi's playing it pretty straight, but he's definitely more, like, again, he gets more comedy in this film than Arnold certainly does. Overall, this is a really well done 80s action film. Is it the greatest action film ever? No. Is it Arnold's best film? No. But it's still a really solid action film. And Red Heat, I would give Red Heat an 8 out of 10. Yes, 8 out of 10 for Red Heat. Have you ever seen Red Heat? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Please hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. I'll be back with Raw Deal and Predator coming up soon. But until then, bye.